Hey, good morning, y'all. I was just out here in the squash patch and I was about to pick some squash, but I've been talking a lot about squash blossoms lately. And so I thought I would jump on here and kind of talk a little bit more about them. So obviously we know they're super delicious, super healthy for you. Shane and I love to eat squash blossoms in quesadillas, but obviously you can, a lot of people stuff them in fry 'em. A lot of people have them in soups and salads. It's very good, flavorful flower for you to eat. But I always also talk about how you want to, if you're picking these out of your own home garden, you definitely want to pick the male flower versus the female flower. Now, both of them are obviously edible. Every part of the flower is edible. But the reason that you want to eat the male flower is it produces a lot more. Your plants are going to produce a lot more male flowers than female flowers. And female flowers is where the fruit is grown from. The female flowers grow the fruit. So how do you tell the difference? It's actually very simple. Y'all, I'm getting distracted by this bee right now because he actually is carrying the pollen. I don't know if you can see that, but he is actually carrying the pollen to the female flower right now. That's so cool. Wow. Okay, so sorry, side note, back to the flowers. So it's actually super simple to tell the difference between a male and a female. First of all, you're going to have more male flowers. The male flowers is going to grow on this very small stem. You can see right there. And also, the male flower is going to have this anther in the middle. If you can see, let me kind of, I'll pull back because I'm about to show y'all what something to do. But you can see that anther there. It's just a stem with, you can see the pollen covered there on top. There's a little pollen on my finger. So the female flower, on the other hand, is going to grow from a much thicker stem. It's going to have this enlarged spot there on the bottom of the flower. And obviously, you can see there on the inside, its center, or the stigma, it definitely looks a lot different than the male flower. So real quickly, that's how you can tell the difference. Definitely a female, and down here, definitely a male flower. Now, one of the other questions I get asked a lot is, my plants don't seem to be producing. What's going on? Well, one of the reasons maybe they don't produce is you don't have enough bees. Obviously, we have a lot of bees. I can hear them buzzing. I love that sound of them buzzing in the morning. And I just showed you some of the bees doing their job, pollinating the female. But you can actually pollinate the female plants yourself. And you can do this one or two ways. Well, actually, there's several ways you can do it, but this is the ways I would suggest. You can actually take off this. Now remember, this part here is edible. You can actually just eat it straight from the garden right now, or you can take it inside, stuff it, fry it, whatever you want to do with it. But basically, I want to remove the anther from the male, and you can see all of that pollen. And then you would just go into the female plant like this, and just like you're painting it. Just a few little brush strokes, and that's actually transferring the pollen from the male to the female. And you can do probably, 4 or 5 plants that way. Now, another way to do it, if you don't want to, take off your male flower, you're not ready to eat it or whatever, you can actually use a Q-tip. You can use the end of a pencil eraser, something like that. So I've got a Q-tip here. I'm going to go in there and just kind of dab the top of that. And you can see I've got it covered with pollen. And then I'm going to go in here to my female. And the same way, I'm just going to kind of brush it with that pollen. And thus I'm transferring the pollen just like a bee would do. So if you want higher yields, or you don't have a lot of bees, you can definitely go in and do it that way. Here's another bee I'll show you over here. And you can see how he has his little bit of pollen that he has picked up on his feet from the male plant and transferring it there to the female plant. Oh, no, he was getting it from the male. Sorry, I was wrong there. He was getting it from the male plant, and then it kind of gets stuck on the bottom of his feet, you can see there, and then he'll take it over eventually to a female plant, a flower, and then that's how the process works, and that's how you get a zucchini or a squash grown. So there's just a few lessons on the squash plant. So I hope y'all enjoy growing squash. I hope y'all enjoy eating squash, and get out there one morning and take a look around at what's happening out there in your garden with these wonderful little creatures helping everything grow. We'll see you later. Bye.